Hi, y'all. If you're coming back, welcome back. And if this is the first time you're coming to the channel, welcome to the channel. Now, there is war. There is war between two groups, divine feminine and divine masculine. You and your team, you have an attack on a building. There is this building that is full of your enemies. You are all soldiers on your team. And they refuse to surrender. Instead, they counterattack. You surround the building and there are 2 floors on the building. There is one particular person who is always working with you. Your team calls out to the people in the tower to surrender and come out, but they refuse. Instead, they have themselves ready to fight back and are getting enamored. Both the front and back of the building is sieged by your team. They are surrounded by your team. At first, the back of the tower is bombed, even before they do any kind of counterattack. And your team ducks down as the tower explodes. And then the front is also bombed. All the people in the tower start panicking and run out only to be caught. From the back, the head of the building, the leader, runs out, a middle-aged old man, has gray trousers and white shirt. You see him and you call out. He surrenders. You realize you do not have a weapon in your hand, a physical weapon. The man is huge. Behind his back, you hold your hand like a gun, and he has his hands up and surrenders to his knees. Then from the front, some young guy is also running away. Your team is inside holding the others. When the young one sees the head held and surrendered, he also falls on his knees. Then the old man sees that you tricked him into surrendering and he tries to attack you. But what he doesn't know is that despite being small, you are too strong. Because with one move, you had him on the floor. He should not have taken you lightly. He doesn't know that you know martial arts, and again you still seize him. The other young man had tried running when he sees the old man attacking you, but when he sees the man on the ground after you made the move, he puts his hands behind his head and surrenders and lies down on the ground with his on his stomach. Because you warn him not to do anything stupid, otherwise he will end up being in the same position, and he abides to your warning. And your team comes out, and it is victory for all of you. Now this is just, maybe you're having inner turmoils of your own. You're stressed out, having inner turmoils, and you have something which you're fighting with yourself inside. That's why it's always advisable to go within to solve your problems, because that is where the solution is. But at the end of it, it is seen that you will still have victory over whatever you are stressed out about. Because help is also coming. Help is always with you. And God's help will always be with you. And the other side, who had been attacking you relentlessly, they're going to regret it. and they will have to surrender one way or the other. Otherwise, they will have big regrets if they don't surrender. Then there are trees having hanging branches, and although they look green and full of beautiful fruits, it's a trap. These trees have yellow snakes hanging on the leaves, and they look like bananas in a way, but they are snakes. And they're waiting for anyone to pass by, and they jump on their backs. You avoid the trees and stay on the road instead of going under the shed, because you know that going under the shed will just be the end of you. So you're willing to take the long, hard road instead of taking a shortcut that looks easy. And that shows how strong you are, divine being. And you have a companion with you, and the companion feels like family. You want them to not to go under the tree, and they listen because they trust you. And then suddenly a yellow cat comes from nowhere and tries to attack. But you safely run away by maneuvering the cat. Then from behind, a green huge wolf appears. And you know you can't stay and fight because you know your strength. So you take off. One of the snakes from the tree tries to reach out to stick on your back. You roll to the ground thumping, and the snake falls off your back. It's like a closed vicinity. This means it's somebody who is close to you. There is a traitor, somebody who is doing things behind your back, and they're trying to betray you. But they're not having victory over you because you're the one who is having victory over them. And all is well. All is well with God. Because God has given you the foresight to see what is coming. And accordingly, you move ahead with the foresight of knowing what is to come and what is not to come. Divine being, God has showered you with blessings, and you are blessed. You will be victorious over your enemies, and you will move on to your blessings and will be blessed for a long time. What is it called? A long term kind of a blessing that you will leave behind once your time is up as well, and you go back to God. And the people, the generation coming after you, will also benefit from that. It's a legacy that is going to last for a long time, for many and many generations to come. And evil creations will not be able to touch you for a long time because you are heavily protected. Glory be to God, the Most High. And you have somebody else who is also a relative. You try to warn them against the yellow snakes, the snakes who are in the vicinity. And they also try to heed the warning, but they don't totally believe in you. And you just let them be, because you can only save those who want to be saved. You cannot save anyone who does not want to be saved. And your assignment and mission is complete. The cycle is complete. And you've left the yellow snakes and the huge wolves, cat, green cat, to fight each other, because that is all they got. They're left for themselves, because there is no one else to attack anymore. And even their gifts have been taken. And all is well with God. So, if you are feeling like things are not going in your way, just know that positive changes are on the way and you will have victory over your enemies. You have God's guardian angels helping you out. You need to make changes in your life and be careful of certain people in your surroundings. There is nothing to be stressed and worried about. You are strong and will make it with whatever you are struggling with. And that is the gift that God has given you. So don't feel like whatever you're struggling with is all in vain. It's not. Everything has its own blessing. And whatever you're struggling with has its own blessing, which is soon to come. So persevere, have patience, and trust in God. Because of all planners, He is the best planner and the most wisest. God is full of wisdom, and whatever He has given you, He would know how to take you out from it. Then He would know the solution for it, and He will show you the solution. The Most High never gives any of His creations anything that they cannot carry. He gives them tests so that they pass the test and they get their gifts, because that's the only way you can deserve to have your gifts. Gifts which are given without ever, what's the word I'm searching? Without struggling for it. Sometimes you don't need to struggle for some things. But sometimes when you don't struggle for some things, you just don't see the blessing in it and you don't appreciate it. But when you struggle for something and you get a good result, you appreciate it and you see the blessing of it. And that is the aim of what the Most High is doing. That's His aim, for you to really appreciate what you have and what is to come. Because many a person get a lot of blessings, but they don't appreciate what they have. Because when it comes easy, they don't appreciate it. They always believe that it's always within reach until it goes away. And that is when they realize how precious it was to have what they had been given. but then it is too late. Sometimes chances can come more than once, but every time you just brush it off, those chances just wear off and you don't get new chances anymore. Because despite having a huge patience, the Most High also has his limits. There comes a time when he also says it's enough and passes judgment over his creations, even though he doesn't want to. Because some people are so stubborn not to see the truth which is right under their nose. And when they see the truth, just like the Pharaoh of Egypt, he refused to accept God's message. He refused to accept God's messenger. He refused to see the truth. And it was only in his last breath, that's when he realized the truth, that he was wrong. He kept thinking that he was God, and he wanted to believe that he was God and he could control everything. But when he saw death coming towards him, and the angel of death was about to take his soul, he tried to repent. But then it was too late, because he had been given so many chances which he never used and which he never appreciated. And so when he tried to repent, the angel of God, the angel of death, closed his mouth and took his soul. And to this day, he is a lesson to all who go against God. His statue lies somewhere in the world for everyone to see and learn the lesson about not going against God. And be humbled. It is to humble people. Make people realize their wrongs and do the right. And that is just what happened to the Pharaoh, because he didn't want to despite knowing the truth, he just didn't want to surrender. So he got bombarded and he failed his tests. He failed. So let's all be mindful and discernful and learn from what has come before us. Learn to know when to stop. Learn to know when to surrender. And learn to know how to go about with the truth, to accept the truth and stay away from the wrong. And that's what I'm guided to give in this message. I hope everyone is at peace and blessed by the Most High. Stay in peace, love, and unity. Take care, everyone. God bless.